And I got to a point in my career where I had reached as far as I could go as an English teacher with an academy. And when it came to performance review time, I proposed to them to have more flexibility and also an increase in salary. And they weren't very interested in this flexibility. I wanted to do more remote work so I could travel a bit more. And when they said no, I also said no.
So, hi everyone. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Let's talk about taking the leap from being an employee to from working for someone else to being your own boss. And we have a very interesting and inspiring guest today. We have Natasha Burgen joining us in the show. Natasha, who's all the way from Barcelona, Spain right now. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now you are your own boss. You do things at your own pace, at your own time. I want to address this to a lot of people who are watching this that are employees, and a lot of people dream to be their own boss. A lot of people want to start their own uh, business. Did you ever envision being an entrepreneur when you were starting out?
It had crossed my mind actually, because I grew up around my dad, who was an entrepreneur. So I saw him build up several different businesses. So it was kind of always in the back of my head, but I didn't really imagine that I would actually do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it came as a bit of a surprise when I started freelancing and then now currently building my own business.
When you are an employee, it's relatively easier to somehow just be comfortable because the benefits are there. If you really get a good job, maybe the salary also gets higher and higher also through the years. What pushed you to take the leap of faith? Because just my backstory for people watching this, I already knew it the early 20s. I knew that I wouldn't be an employee. That's why I took the leap also early on. But I didn't. It took me 5 years before I really quit and detach myself from being an employee. What caused you already to be able to take the leap and not being scared when I've seen a lot of people right now in their 40s and their 50s, they're still hesitant uh to quit their job and just pursue their dreams?
Honestly, it comes down to a lot of factors for me. So to give you a bit more of a backstory, I was teaching English in many different countries because I've lived in many different places around the world. And I got to a point in my career where I had reached as far as I could go as an English teacher with an academy. And when it came to performance review time, I proposed to them to have more flexibility and also an increase in salary. And they weren't very interested in this flexibility. I wanted to do more remote work so I could travel a bit more. And when they said no, I also said no. So at the time, I had quite a bit of savings. So I knew I could take the plunge. And I'm a big fan of taking risks, calculated risks. So I had that window. I had about 3-4 months to kind of prepare. And I jumped from working at the academy to freelancing as an English teacher. I won't lie, it was very hard at the beginning because there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of admin that normally your employer will take care of for you, right? So I jumped in head first, made loads of mistakes, which is totally normal. But the fulfillment I got from doing that is what made it worth it. And slowly and surely, I started pushing through and building up my student base, which like maybe in other places, clients, patrons, whatever it may be. And it took me about 6 months to get to a very comfortable position. And I love challenges, so I kept pushing the envelope, you know? And I think for any entrepreneurs or anybody who's thinking about entrepreneurship, I think it all starts with an idea and the drive and motivation to follow through with it, right?
That's interesting. You said motivation because it's being motivated to actually sacrifice when all of your friends are not sacrificing, spending stuff. So I want to touch a bit on how you actually save money. What's your strategy? When you said that you wanted to quit your job already and then be freelance, how did you structure it? Did you set, I need to have this much savings before I would quit my job, or no matter what happens when I hit this month, no matter what my savings is, I'm gonna quit already? What's your, how did you approach your savings cycle in all of this? Because I want to say this, that people always say follow your passion, but there's also a money side to it, that it's hard to follow your passion if you can't pay the bills. It's hard to follow your passion, that if you get sick, how are you going to take care of it if you're in a place also that requires you to take care of your own medical?
One of the biggest things that really helped with that, especially when you mentioned medical, I was in Portugal at the time, so I was living in Lisbon. Rent prices were fairly low, food was also very low, and medical was covered. So I had insurance, so I could rely on the system there. And they were very welcoming and open to entrepreneurs. So in that sense, I was very lucky. I know not a lot of people have that opportunity, right? But it was more, I had a budget of what I could live with for 3 months. And I told myself, okay, I have 3 months to make this happen. If not, I'll get another job. I'll get a part-time job, no problem. So I had enough savings at the time, and it did work out. And I had to cut a lot of things. So I think this is a big part of it, right? So like you mentioned before, not going out with your friends every night, or not going to restaurants or big concerts or something like that. So my priority was growing my business and making it work, because that's what I thrived on.
Was it scary a few days before you quit your job already, that you know that a week from now or 2 weeks from now you lose that stability? And I guess second question on top of that also is that, what were your friends telling you? Because when it was me, people didn't want me to quit because everyone wants the security of a job. What were your friends around you telling you?
A lot of them initially thought I was crazy, but then after I explained to them, but it'll be okay. Like, it's as if I had to reassure them more than reassure myself, right? Like, I had the butterflies in my stomach. I thought, oh my gosh, this is my last paycheck from this stable job. At the end of it, I had such an amazing support system around me and so many amazing people believing in me. And I think that really helped. I can only imagine like some people who are in that situation where they don't have somebody cheering you on, you know. I think it makes a big difference. And that's actually something I like to promote on my own platform, is I want to be a cheerleader for everybody, because I want everybody to be able to live their dreams and their adventures as well.
Amazing. So since you mentioned that, guys, I'll put links in the description if you want to follow her, or you want to know more about her. You'll get more from her, more than what I could ever teach you. She's super smart, and I think super rich as well. But I wanna ask this for those who are watching this that want to take the leap, or at least want to start their own business. What are the tips that you can actually give them based on your experience as well? Anything you want to leave with them?
First of all, I would say just make sure you have an idea that, like, knowing your market, first of all. So having an idea that you know you are passionate about, but that also fulfills a purpose or gives a service in some way. You want to be able to serve. And when you can find that nice cross section between the two, I think that's where you get success. And just stay motivated when it's midnight and you know you have to wake up in 4 hours to get going, make that side hustle happen, do your second job, whatever it is, to keep yourself afloat. Just do it. Just remember that you're doing this for yourself and how good it's going to feel once you do achieve your goals. And believe in yourself. I really think that's the biggest thing. And I guess money is a big part of it, right? So you want to have that security. So I think budgeting and kind of planning for your lifestyle and the lifestyle that you're willing to have when you're making this transition and you're trying to build that business is also really important, right? So just having a plan, and a plan B, and maybe a plan C as well, because I've run into that problem as well, where plan A didn't work. Let's do plan B.
Wow, well said. What's the biggest sacrifice that you had to make in all of this? Was there anything that you had to give up for you to be able to do this, to be able to do what you love doing right now?
Definitely. The first thing that comes to mind is my family. So my family, they all live in Canada at the minute. And because I was on my budget and I was working to build this business that I currently have at the minute, flying to Canada from Europe is quite expensive. So I had to kind of wait until I was at a point where it was possible to do. But luckily I did receive lots of love and support from all over Canada, but that's been the hardest. But luckily I'll be going to visit soon. I actually recorded myself. No one in the world has seen this recording, but I told myself, like my future self, you will never get to this point again. Sometimes touching bottom or failing is okay. And it's okay to fail because you're never going to do it again. So just because you fail, it's not a big deal because you learn from that lesson and you become a better person, a better entrepreneur after that.